We're recording. I got Greg with me today, and he has asked to interview me. He said he's got 15 questions. So I'll let you lead this episode.
All right. Welcome to the CrossFit Control podcast. As Devin said, my name's Greg. I'm a member here. I'm the last founding member as far as when you open.
You were number 48.
Yep. And have a shirt to prove it. But, Devin interviews us, members of the gym, and talks about things on the podcast. And I thought it'd be cool just to sit down with him and get his perspective on some things and how he's grown. So we're going to get right into it. Devin, how have you changed as a coach / owner since you first opened CrossFit Control 3 years ago?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's do the owner part first. So
Sure.
The one thing I do this with Ground Zero. So for you guys that don't know, being an owner is it's tough in this industry because it's not all of your members. It's usually one or two that do this, but when you succeed, those one or two will look down on you, and then they'll start gossiping, and that's a tough thing to handle because you signed up to help people, so you want to help those people too, but then you have this going on in the gym. A great example is last year we had a great year. Got myself a motorcycle. There were some comments made as I walked through the door. You got to address those. But as far as ownership, so I'm the sole owner of CrossFit Control. You and I have a rental company together, and then I'm 1/3 owner on Ground Zero. And what I do, apart from me just saying right there that I own those businesses, I don't call myself an owner. I always, for this place, I call myself the founder. To me, you guys are more of owners than I am because you guys are the ones that keep the lights on. You guys are the ones that pay a monthly membership that allows me to do this full time. You guys are the ones that, those membership dues cover the cost of this equipment. And without you guys, I couldn't do what I love every day. So to me, I'm just paying the bills. I don't consider myself an owner of anything. But when I first opened, I was very prideful of owning something. So now it's more of how can I focus on the members who are constantly keeping this place growing and keeping moving forward. As far as a coach, like you said, you were here when we first started, you and Deb are both. Mm-hmm. My coaching style has changed a lot. So I've coached since I was 18. I started coaching jiu-jitsu when I was 18 years old, and I started with kids. And so if you can take a 5-year-old and you can teach them a complex movement, you can usually learn. So I knew how to teach. I knew how to simplify stuff. But as far as coaching CrossFit, it's different because you have equipment involved and you have a group. I think the largest group I've had is I think 40 for Marty's memorial workout. Mm-hmm. And that's tough. Even though we were all doing our own thing and we were separate, I still had to keep that timeline moving. And group management it's the whole group, but it's also your internal station. And you'll get into this stuff if you take your level 2. And so for me, I started out as I loved exercise. I just wanted to open a gym. I did that, and then I found out, oh shit, I don't know as much about this as I thought I did. And so I did, the first year that we were open, I did a lot of continuing education. So I got my level 2 in the first year that we were open. I got my level 3 10 months after. I took the gymnastics course twice. I took the weightlifting course. I took the nutrition course from Precision Nutrition and CrossFit. I took Kelly Starrett, who is a physical therapist. I took his mobility course. And so what I did was I tried to set myself apart from every other CrossFit coach in this state. One is I'm the only level 3 in the state. But 2 is the way I coach you, and you've seen this because you and Deborah do PT with me, creating a shape is one thing, but understanding how we create the shape is another thing. So a squat. Rather than just saying, hey, squat down, I understand how the connective tissue is creating that shape, which in turn allows me to coach you. I can apply it to you a lot easier. Does that make sense? Like, oh, yeah. I can get to the joint or the actual muscle and give you cues there versus most coaches are just saying push your hips back. But I can actually explain what's going on in that movement to make it easier for you to understand, which in turn makes you a better athlete. And it also allows me, I could rant about this question alone, could be an hour, but you probably notice a difference too whenever you take my class. I will pick 1 or 2 people in that class to really push for that day. But it all depends. It depends on how they're coming in, how their mood is whenever they see me, how their movement is. All that stuff matters. But for me as a coach, I went from level 1, giving a whiteboard brief and doing the same class that every other CrossFit gym does, to now, when you guys walk in my doors, I'm looking at you and I'm trying to make you 1% better for today. And it might not be you today. It might be Deborah, or it might be Laurel, but I'm trying to make at least 2 of those members 1% better. But safety is always number 1. So that was another big thing for me too, is the safety aspect of it, how to approach members when they're pushing too hard. Like I said, I could rant on this, but for me, number 1 is don't ever call yourself an owner. You are able to grow your business because of other people, and that's every business. No matter what business you're in, it's because of other people. And then for coaching, just continue to try to get better. Continue to learn something new. Learn something new every day. I was just talking to you about, sorry, I know you got more questions.
Oh, no, you're fine.
We were just talking about, I've been listening to Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, and we were talking about how, these chemicals in our brain create our moods. And I've been really fascinated with that. And so that in turn will allow me to approach someone who I think is having a bad day or a good day. I can understand now, okay, well, the brain is actually releasing chemicals that is causing that mood. Well, how can I change that and get the other chemicals to be released? How can I make this a better day for them because they just had a shitty day? So that right there, I don't know how many other CrossFit coaches are actually digging into the brain science behind this and how I can make your day as happy as possible. But I am. So I'm constantly trying to get better so I can provide more for these guys here.
Well, you've in that question, you hit on a couple other things that I wanted to dive into a little deeper, but so I'll skip down. Why is continuing education so important to CrossFit? And you just hit on it. I mean, you're learning right now about the chemical imbalance or dopamine in someone's brain that when it releases, it's happy. It makes you happy. So it's interesting to me that you're diving into that when everyone else just focuses on the barbells, the dumbbells, and everything else. But continuing education, why is it so important?
Why is it so important? Well, for me, number 1, I struggle with the same things. I have ups and downs, but 2, you don't know who the next athlete is that's going to be walking through your doors. And so I took a little course on adaptive athletes this week, earlier about Tuesday or Wednesday. And I cannot remember, but they have a different definition for adaptive versus scaling, because adaptive athletes are athletes that have a disability. Mm-hmm. And CrossFit has the CrossFit Games actually now has multiple categories or multiple divisions for these athletes. They have upper extremities, they have lower extremities, they have lower extremity with hip function, without hip function, above the elbow, below the elbow, above the knee, below the knee, visually impaired.
Do they have intellectual?
I don't know if intellectual was the term. I want to say they do. Okay. And they give you an example too of like an adult with Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And then they also have short stature, which is anyone with dwarfism. Mm-hmm. So we don't have any of those athletes right now, but I would absolutely love the opportunity to work with someone who's trying to get their health better. So I need to be prepared for when that athlete walks through my doors. And I have my fair share of old injuries or whatever you want to call them. I'm not hurting too much anymore, but it was mostly from jiu-jitsu. But I have athletes who come in and they have joint problems. Like you have your knees and then look at what we did with your ankles and the short time that since your last surgery. And, Deborah's another example of what was going on with her shoulder. So being able to, you guys are paying for a service. You're not paying to come in and watch the same video with me or read the same article or for me to send you a video. You're paying for me to simplify it. Mm-hmm. And that's my job, is to get you out of pain as soon as possible in the easiest and simplest way possible. And so that's why I also, I love doing this. Like I love learning about this stuff. So continuing education, it's important so you can help the next athlete that walks through your doors.
Okay. And I've told you this before, but you impress me so much with your knowledge of the body and the moving parts and how they connect, operate as a cohesive unit. Tell me your educational background in that area and why you chose to educate yourself so much in that area. I mean, I think it makes you stand out as far as the coach. So many times in here, I just witnessed it. I wasn't even in class, but I was in here. New member, Kim, said, hey, having some pain in this area. You're like, hey, it's your psoas. I'm going to show you how to smash that. She did what you told her to do, and she got up and she goes, oh, the pain's practically gone. Still a little bit, but practically gone. But tell me what made you, educate yourself in that, because I've been to other CrossFit gyms, not just in the state, but when we travel, we check in. I've never had anyone else come up to me and say, man, my knee's really hurting. Hey, why don't you try this stretch? Or no one has ever done that.
Well, I can tell you so actually I had a call with Jason Ackerman, who runs Best Hour of Their Day, Affiliate University. He's a level 4 CrossFit trainer. I talk to him every 2 weeks, and we actually discussed this on our last call because the barrier to entry to own an affiliate is so low. All you have to do is get your level 1, apply, and pay your fee. Anyone can open an affiliate. And so we were discussing, should the barrier of entry be greater? Well, I probably wouldn't have opened my gym if it was.
Right.
But number one is I have struggled with these things, and rather than just wanting someone to tell me what to do, I want to know why it's happening. I want to know, why am I having lower back pain? Why is my shoulder bothering me? Why is my upper back bothering me? And so it started with John Mauser was my trainer. Mm-hmm. He's very knowledgeable, and he would give me because I would ask questions, and so he would give me all this information. And then it turned into, well, there are experts out there who have courses available that are outlined to make it as easy as possible to learn. And so I think the first course I actually signed up for online was Kelly Starrett's mobility course, because mobility is the ability to create the shape. A lot of people get flexibility and mobility mixed up. You could be super flexible, you could be, mobile but not flexible, because you can still create the shape. And so that's what started it. Was one of my shoulders bothered me for like 3 years, and it started with, I wanted to understand what's going on in there. And so Kelly Starrett's mobility course is really what set me apart as far as understanding how connective tissue works, what's the difference between tendons and ligaments, because all that stuff really does matter. And you'll notice too, it doesn't happen very often, but if someone comes to me and they have a problem and I'm not quite sure, I won't give them advice on it.
Right.
That's another thing that coaches do wrong is, if I come to you and I say, hey, my shoulder really hurts, what should I do? You don't tell me, just jump up on the bar and work it out. It should be, well, let's test it first. What's actually, like, that's a problem too. Coaches will just give advice without even seeing what's going on. How many times have you seen someone come to me and they say their shoulders bother me, and I have them do the thumbs up, thumbs down race?
Right.
I need to understand, okay, is it in the front of the shoulder? Is it in the back of the shoulder? Your shoulder is made up of 17 different muscles connecting multiple bones to create shapes. And if I can understand which muscle is too tight or too loose, I can usually fix the problem. And really, that just comes down to lots and lots of practice, to where I've got it down to where it's so simple. If someone comes to me, usually I can catch it on the first 1, maybe 2 tries. Mm-hmm. Kim's a great example. She came to me, what was it, back pain or hip pain?
It was a back.
Back, yeah. I said, that's probably your psoas because we just ran.
Yep.
She used I had you guys use the kettlebell.
Yep.
Did it for 30 seconds each side, got up. She was like, oh, it's almost gone. But it's because I understood the psoas attaches to the femur, it runs up, and then it flares out and it attaches to your lumbar spine. If it's tight, it's going to pull on your lumbar spine. Understanding that allowed me to simplify it and provide her with a fix. Mm-hmm. So that's why continue. Or wait, what was the question? Was not why continuing education was important. Was that the why do I?
Well, the question was, why you chose to educate yourself so much in the area of the muscle tissue and all that. But I think you answered it perfectly. I mean, I wish, and I want to follow up with that because you had said you gave the outline for what it takes to open a CrossFit affiliate. And you said you wouldn't have done it if there was more involved 3 years ago. But now 3 years in, don't you feel it should be a little more involved?
I do, and that's something Ackerman and I discussed because he owned 3 affiliates at one point, and same thing. It was the easiest thing for me. Like I hated my desk job, and it was the easiest way for me to get out because all I did was I took a 2-day course. I applied online. I had to save up a little bit of money to pay for an affiliate fee, and you can open it. Is it tough? Yeah, it is tough. But like I said, you don't have to have an exercise science degree or anything like that. And so to me, I was already kind of, in my brain, I thought I was behind because I thought people who were owning affiliates were going to be educated.
I was going to say, you probably thought they were already like level 3 coaches or something.
And I'm also, you've seen this, I'm super competitive. If I think someone out there is better than me, I want to get better. So to me, it was, how can I become the best trainer in the state? And I fast-tracked it to a 2-year progress. And, I wasn't the first level 3 in the state. Jeff Giossi was the first level 3, but he passed away a couple years ago. But I am currently the only affiliate owner who's a level 3. There is a guy in the southern part of the state that got his level 3, still uses a West Virginia address, but owns an affiliate in Virginia. So as far as level 3s in the state, I'm the only one that has the affiliate. And so,
well, it's funny you talk about the state. That's my next question. What are some of the challenges you face running a CrossFit gym in the unhealthiest state in the country?
Unhealthiest state. It's also...
we fight Mississippi every year for that title, but it seems like we always win.
We've got the last 2 years.
We lead the nation in obesity, diabetes. I would say our cancer rate is probably as high or higher than most states. And
I think what's wrong with our state and why people are like that. So we should also address that we're in Fairmont, which Bridgeport's a bigger city. Morgantown's a bigger city. We're right in the center. Marion County's population is less than 50,000.
Right.
And so we have some members that drive 30, 45 minutes. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. I remember when I was training jiu-jitsu in college and I was living at my parents' house in the summer, I would drive 2 hours to train at Ground Zero because it was the best gym in the state.
Wow.
2 hours one way.
Yeah.
And then I would drive 2 hours back. I'd get home at midnight, and then I'd get up and I'd go to work at 6. And I would do that 3 days a week because it was the best gym in the state. And so I truly appreciate those people who are willing to make that drive to come train with us. But I think what the problem is, you are a product of your environment. And so if you travel, you will probably notice there are not as many unhealthy people the farther, like Florida, North Carolina. I can remember when I lived in North Carolina, I would come home to visit. I was always shocked by the obesity that I would see around me. And so I think what the problem is, children are being raised by obese parents and they don't know how to change it. And so I'm trying. There's a bunch of different legs I could go off of on this, but most people are not educated enough. Most people don't know that they don't have to live in pain or discomfort. Because at my heaviest, I was 240 pounds, and I can remember looking at a flight of stairs and dreading it. And I'm sure that you can remember too being heavy and needing to take breaks, cutting the grass, but not like you're 53, right?
Yeah.
53 years old, you don't think about climbing a flight of stairs. You don't think about picking something up off the floor. But how many people in their 30s do you know have to hike their pants up, go into a split, and then walk down one leg to pick up something? I don't want people to live like that. I want to help them, and they need to know that's not an aging thing. That's just a lazy thing. You can get in here, and I will absolutely, all you got to do is show that you want it, and I will do whatever it takes to help you. But to me, the struggle is, number one, we're in the unhealthiest state, and so people are a product of their environment. But number two, we're also in one of the poorest states. And so because people are unhealthy, they usually spend their money on things that are also unhealthy, and they get themselves locked into these bad habits. So they don't have money to put towards their health. But I can say $150 a month is way cheaper than going through chemo, or my stepdad had a stroke. His stay in the hospital was $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
That $150 a month is way, way cheaper than that $100,000 stay. And it'll probably keep you out of the hospital for a long time.
Describe some of the joys and agonies that you experience in coaching such a wide variety of athletes. For example, you have some athletes who pick up much easier on certain cues than others. Others may take months or even years. So describe the triumphs and defeats you feel in someone's journey along the way.
Triumphs and defeats. That's a great question. I wanted to process that for a second. Triumphs is honestly when people do things that they never thought possible. We've had this place open in November of 2019, so about 3.5 years. And stories will stick out in your brain. You know, I truly love every single person who walks through this door and they want to help themselves. I'll do whatever it takes to help them. Some people are still struggling with finding what that is, and I would love to do an episode on that. But there are stories that stick out, and for me, when I think about there are easier things I could do in life, there are a couple stories that I play on repeat in my head, and I'll tell you the number one story. I don't know if you listen to the podcast, I appreciate it, but if you don't, someone tells you, cool, it's Hope. That story. If I ever think about quitting, I think about her story, and I just for every 10 people that curse me out because I fight against them for quitting, I think about Hope. So Hope and her husband were trying to conceive, and she came to me right after we reopened from COVID. I had an intro with her. We were on the backside still, and she came in. She was wearing a ball cap, and it was the middle of summer. It looked like she just got done playing softball, and she's talking to me, and she's like, I want this. I've been trying to have kids for 5 years. My doctor says I need to lose weight. I need this. I want this. I said, I'll do whatever you need. I'll help you. I got to talk to my husband first. Usually whenever they say that, they're not coming back.
Right.
She left. She came back maybe 5 minutes later. I can't remember. And she said, I want to start right now. I want to start today. I said, cool. I'm going to start you. Like, we did her first onboarding that day. And she got pregnant within the first year, and they're trying for their second baby now. And she had some complications with her pregnancy. She stayed at home. But I was on her. Every time we did a free event, I would message her, hey, Hope, you want to come in for Bring a Friend Week? Hey, we're doing dinner. We're doing our gym dinner. And I would always get 1 or 2 word answers. No, but thank you. And one day, it was the last Bring a Friend Week. I said, hey, Hope, you want to come in for Bring a Friend Week? No, thank you. I said, listen, I swear I will not mention selling you on a gym membership. I just want to see you. And I mean, I had a longer text, but I mean, it was just, I truly care about her.
Right.
And it was like midnight or something. She goes, I think I changed my mind. I'll be in. She came. I never once tried to sell her on a gym membership, but at the end of the Bring a Friend month, no, we did the giveaway. So we gave everyone who participated in it a free month. She said, hey, I want to come back. And I think about that because if she wouldn't have found us, would her and her husband been able to have children? But also, I never gave up on her. Even when I was getting those 1 or 2 word answers, I knew I was bugging her, so I was trying to frame it in a certain way. But it was about a year of me being constant, just, hey, you want to come in? I didn't care about her signing up for a gym membership. I just truly wanted to see her because her story also changed my life.
Absolutely.
Other stories are obviously yours, the injuries that we've been able to overcome. And then Matt being 400 pounds is also a story that sticks out in my mind, and where he's come to run in the kids program. And so for me, it's not really the 600-pound deadlifts. It's more of the longevity pieces that people accomplish, and knowing that I'm changing their lives and I'm probably changing their kids' lives. As far as I love coaching and seeing people change. Where I do struggle is when people don't see the results that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a couple different things. It could be that the results they have in their head that they want are too far out of reach, or it could be that they're not pushing themselves enough. And enough could be what they're doing in the gym or just not showing up. And one of the quotes that I have written on our wall in our living area, because we had a great year last year, and then we had a deep dive whenever Heather left. It's the ups and downs of learning how to run a business. And so I talked to Fern about it, who runs Affiliate University with Ackerman, and he gave all of us the same advice in the grad group. It's easier to keep your foot on the gas at all times than it is to try to regain momentum. And that, or regain motivation. And that is fucking true. And you're probably the best example, because you tore your Achilles on a Thursday. You were back in here Friday biking because you wanted to keep that motivation, that momentum moving forward. And so for people, they usually start, if I can catch them in the first 3 months, I can usually bypass this. But they will start, they'll be really hungry for it for about 2 weeks, and then muscles ache, joints start to hurt a little bit. We could do a whole nother episode on that, on what's actually going on and why that's happening. But then they don't see the results they want as fast as possible. Well, I've only lost 10 pounds and I hurt too much. I'm just going to stop going. It's not worth it. But it is absolutely worth it. It's going to keep you out of the hospital 20 years from now. And so for me, I love seeing people succeed or do things they never thought possible, or just impacting their lives. And then the hardest part is getting people to actually push themselves to their full potential.
Absolutely. Which leads me right into my next question is, how do you get someone to care for their health as much as you want to see them get better?
Conversations. Yeah. So if you own an affiliate, or if you are trying to actively help people, I know I'm telling stories after each one of these questions. This is a great story. I had a woman who was training with us, and she was doing great. She was struggling quite a bit, but she was doing great. She was showing up every day, and I was really happy for her. She said, "Hey, I want to go to another gym that's closer to my house." I said, "Okay." I said, "Where do you live?" And she told me. I said, "Sweet. I know the people who own that gym. I'm gonna get on their website right now." I sat there, pulled up their website, filled out her information, hit the submit button. I said, "They'll contact you within a couple of days." Well, I went to a seminar at that gym. I said, "Hey, did this woman reach out to you guys?" "Well, I don't know, because this person runs our CRM." Like, okay, so I go talk to that person. "Hey, did this person reach out to you?" "Yeah, but I sent them a text and they didn't respond, so I just didn't want to bother them." And I shouldn't have lost my shit, but I did. I said, "You're not bothering them. You're changing their fucking life." And that, man, it just like... So the reason Matt signed up is because he was eating 2 pieces of pizza, or maybe 4 pieces. I can't remember. He got a free slice or something for ordering so many slices. This is back when he was over 300 pounds. He's in Parkersburg eating. He fills out we had Facebook ads. He fills out the ad. I called him immediately. Because I called him immediately, he's now a coach here, and he's changing kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with...
and he's a damn good coach.
Yeah. Those kind of things, when you reach out, when you put in the effort to give a shit about someone, you can truly change their lives. But that's a problem with most of these businesses, is they're searching for a dollar rather than helping people. And to me, like I said, I've been yelled at, I've been cursed at, I've been told I was cheap, or I didn't really give a shit about people. I'll take all of those for the one Matt, or the one Hope, that I can really impact their lives. And so, what was that question again? Because I know I'm ranting right now, and I'm trying to...
No, the question was, how do you make someone care for their health as much as you want to see them get healthy?
Yeah, so my long-winded answer was, you have to care about them first,
right?
And showing them that someone else does care about them.
Because they all sign up saying the same thing. I want to get healthy. I want to change my life. I want to do this. I want to break bad habits. But like you said, after 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I'm sore, I hurt, I can't do this. Doubt starts to come into their mind. So it's up to you as a coach to bring them back in and say, listen, It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it.
Well, you'll notice when I coach, I will sprinkle in educational pieces like, hey, I'll just say, let's do this stretch so we can stretch out our hamstring. And then you'll hear someone say, oh, that feels good. Yeah, right. Because they were sore from the day before. So I try to hit that stuff. And then if I see someone struggling, like you can see it in their face.
Absolutely.
You pull them aside and you have a private conversation. You don't make a big deal in front of people. But, we have a member who struggled with weight loss and doing their own thing because they were belittled their whole life. And I would love if I'm going to talk to them and see if they'll come on and tell this story. But they said this was the first place that they truly felt like someone cared about them. They went to another gym and they hired a personal trainer, and that personal trainer didn't get them any results. And so when they started here, they thought that I was also cheap because they had a bad experience at another gym. And then I can remember I was terrified to do their onboarding. They probably know who I'm talking about at this point, and I would love it if they came on and tell this story. But I was terrified to do their onboarding because they were just like so angry. And then, so I actually passed on the onboarding to Heather because it took me 6 months to get this person to sign up, just to even come in and talk to me. But I contact every time they emailed, I would respond because if I can help this person, it leads to helping more people. Their first class, we did deadlifts. They left. They had a huge smile on their face, and then I got an email later on said this is the best choice I've ever made. They've been here 3 years. You can tell I'm not giving any hints or anything, but I'm gonna talk to them today and see if I can get them on this.
Cool.
Tell the story.
And I think that's a frustrating part in a lot of people's minds is they'll go to different gyms, and not just a CrossFit gym, but different gyms, and you have coaches who just want you to go through the motions, and they don't educate you and they don't care so much. They're there for the buck, and I feel like this gym is definitely different. Okay, Devin, rapid fire time. Got to have my glasses on. Favorite CrossFit movement and why?
Favorite movement and why? I really like burpees because what keeps people out of nursing home is going to be burpees. It's also a really good full range of motion movement if it's done correctly.
So. Least favorite and why?
Pistols because they are terrible for your knees and you can do step-ups in place and you get the same thing.
What is your greatest CrossFit memory so far?
Greatest CrossFit memory? I know it's supposed to be rapid fire. The first thing that came to mind was doing the first competition with Kenny Hacker, and he did that 155-pound snatch, and that was the first one that came to mind. So obviously it's
okay. Name someone else's accomplishment you were most proud of.
Obviously, your first pull-up, Shauna's first pull-up, Whitney's first pull-up. Watching people get their first pull-ups is one of the coolest things.
If a workout was named after you, what movement would it have in it and why?
Probably burpees because I'm probably known for just grinding through things that are tough.
If you could mold the perfect athlete, tell me 3 qualities they must have.
Ability, strength, and skill.
There you go. And who's your favorite all-time CrossFitter?
I liked Matt Fraser's aggression, even though I think he's a terrible human. And I like Rich Froning because he's a kind human. But
all right. Last question, not rapid fire. I'm going to let you take us out with this one. Give the people your sales pitch as to why you believe CrossFit Control is the best CrossFit gym in the state and why they should come here.
You can listen to this whole episode. So I interview all of you guys.
Mm-hmm. It's much different on that end, isn't it?
Yeah, and what I noticed was I was starting to do my rambling where I love this stuff. I love it every day. We constantly get new members who are coming in with new things that they're struggling with, and I love the challenge of helping them. And so I can tell you, I can't tell you what other gyms do, but I can tell you what we do. I can tell you if you sign up at this gym, I will do everything I can to help you get to where you want to be. And I have dozens of people in this gym right now who can tell you that is the case. you and Deborah are number one, number two, who could say, you got a question, go ask him. Doesn't matter what it is. He'll find you an answer. If I don't have it, I'll find you someone who does.
And one of the things I love is every 3 to 4 months, you and I sit down, review goals. We do goal reviews. And if I've achieved this certain goal, okay, we need to change the goals. And so we're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing too. I mean, as far as I know, we are I don't want to say only gym, but we do goal reviews. We do in-body scans. We do weekly check-ins with people. We celebrate wins. We celebrate committed club. We celebrate everything that you guys do. And when I say celebrate, I mean like we go all out. How many gyms do you know that celebrate by just making a fucking Facebook post?
Right.
Don't share my picture in a story and say, yay. No, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Have them ring the PR bell. Like, really celebrate with them, because what they're doing is something they never thought they could have done. So, your pull up, I know your face whenever I just did it.
Yeah, it's something I'll never forget.
I said, well, make sure it's not a fluke. Do it again. You did too, right there. Yeah. And you're like, that's my first one ever, 53 years.
Yep.
Celebrate that shit. Make it your bright spot.
And that was 9 weeks or 10 weeks of post-op Achilles reattachment. And, Deborah showed up. She had to go to work, but she showed up just because she was concerned about me doing the workout. And when I told her I did my first pull-ups, I mean, we both cried. I mean, it was that emotional for both of us. So,
I mean, she had an emotional night too, because it was toes to bar for her, right?
Yeah.
And I work with you two the most out of anyone. I interact with you guys the most. I talk to you outside of class a lot because we run the rental company together, and we're friends.
Yes.
And so you two probably see it the most, that I really do care. I know I'm very quiet and I keep a lot of things in, so maybe not all of our members see that side. They just see me as the guy walking in and out of that back room. But I'm telling you, every day, my thought is, how can I make this place better for you? How can I make you better as an individual? How can I make the experience better for all of you? And we're constantly trying to make it better. Do we always make it better? No, sometimes we got to go back to what we were doing before, but.
And that's why I thought it was important to do this interview today with you, so people can see that passion. And as it's the reason why I would never leave this gym. So appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks, Greg.